The pandemic has caused almost everything in the world to change. As a result, it has challenged each one of us, our jobs, families, businesses, different institutions, and organizations on how we will respond to this new normal. As for our country's education sector, to start putting things back to normal and give structure to lives again, the Department of Education released a memo, Order number 7, series of 2020, last May 11, and I quote, "Education must continue to give hope and stability, contribute to the normalization of activities in the country, facilitate the development of our learners, and bring normalcy to their lives. But health and safety of learners and school personnel are of utmost importance and must be protected at all times." End of quote. With this in mind, our school's response beginning last school year has been IJA leads, which is the main reason why we are all gathered here today. The objectives for today's short program are the following. First, be familiar with the general guidelines in the conduct of the limited face-to-face modality. And second, be informed of the relevant safety procedures. For the past 2 school years that we have been in quarantine due to COVID-19, the clamor for the return to face-to-face classes have been getting louder and greater. Though for IJA, teaching and learning has been continuing with our implementation of the IJA learning through alternative design systems, otherwise known as IJA leads. Studies say that the face-to-face mode is still by far the best way to ensure effective teaching and learning. The modified or limited face-to-face classes are still part of the IJA leads, which we said we shall only do when the DepEd and the DOH tell us that it is safe to do so. As preparation for the limited face-to-face classes, we will be sharing the guidelines with you today. But first, we are happy to announce that IJA Marikina has been certified safe. We already have been awarded the COVID-19 Safety Seal, signifying that our school fully complies with the safety protocols to prevent COVID-19. As for the flow of our program today, it will be as follows. A recall of what IJA leads has been all about and discuss the general guidelines for the limited face-to-face classes, specifically contingency plan, facilities, classroom layout and structure, school traffic management, screening process, safety protocols, break or lunch schedules and protocols, home, school, community, coordination, and communication strategy. But before we proceed to the discussion about the guidelines for the possible face-to-face classes, may I remind our dear parents to please reserve your questions for our open forum. Thank you. Let's officially start the program by recalling what IJA Leads is all about. As a response to the COVID-19 pandemic, IJA Leads is a blended mode of getting the school's instructions or services across. This means that the teaching-learning process will be a combination of distance learning, face-to-face classroom setting, and blended learning, or a combination of distance and face-to-face. In the 3 modalities shown, we have been doing distance learning since the start of last school year. But now, we are hoping to slowly go back to face-to-face classes by the use of blended learning. The purposes behind IJA Leads are first, to ensure that learning continues in a crisis like this, both online and offline. Second, to create more convenient ways to facilitate teaching, learning, and administrative processes. And third, to provide for continuous improvement and innovation of the teaching learning process. To orient you about the school's plan for the limited face-to-face classes, we will now proceed to the discussion of the general guidelines. Again, our dear parents and guardians, while the presentation is ongoing, kindly take note of your questions so that we may address them later during our open forum. To share with us the contingency plan of the school, may I call Ms. Colleen Buenaventura.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ms. Tomas, and good afternoon again, dear parents. I will be discussing with you the school's contingency plan, and we will follow the guidelines shown below or in the presentation according to the alert level imposed by the IATF. For the alert level 5, the school is closed, meaning no teachers and staff will report to school. No face-to-face classes, and only online distance learning will be conducted. For office transactions like payment and request forms from SRO will also be purely online. For the alert level 4, still the school is closed. No face-to-face classes will be conducted, and office transactions will be purely online. However, essential workers need to report to school. For alert level 3, still no face-to-face classes will be conducted, purely online distance learning. But the school is open for face-to-face transactions as the school staff will be following a skeletal schedule. Online payments and request forms are still possible. For alert levels 2 and 1, the school is open and the school staff will now follow their regular schedule. But still with online regular schedule for the school staff. However, the classes in these alert levels may now be conducted face-to-face, but still with online distance learning or what we call the blended learning. Also, office transactions may be done face-to-face or online. And currently, we are following the alert level 1. So meaning classes may now be conducted face-to-face. That is why the school is preparing you and the students for the pilot implementation of our face-to-face classes. Again, this is the school's contingency plan, and I am now giving back the virtual floor to Ms. Tomas. Thank you, and Jesus loves you.
Thank you, Ms. Buenaventura. For the facilities, classroom layout, and structure, may I call Mr. Christian Antero.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Again, good afternoon to our dear parents and students. I'll be sharing with you the guidelines and protocols for facilities, classroom layout, and structure. Safety is very important to all of us, especially with this pandemic that we're facing right now. So the school needs to consider many things to ensure your child's safety every time they will enter the school premises. So with that, classrooms are arranged to ensure the safety of the learners from COVID-19 transmission. Okay, so here's the classroom layout that we will follow for this limited face-to-face classes. So as you can see, each seat is 1 to 2 meters apart. There are only 20 chairs inside each classroom, since for the senior high school, that's the maximum number of learners allowed inside the classroom. To ensure that the student will not transfer seats, nameplate is also provided on each chair so that they will stay only on the seat provided to them. Aside from the hand washing area located on the entrance gate of the school, each classroom has a toilet for boys and girls and hand washing facilities as well. And last, There are also cubby holes outside each classroom for the students to place their output needed per subject. So once again, these are the important things that you need to know about classroom layout and structure. Thank you, everyone, and Jesus loves you all.
Thank you, Mr. Antero. Now for the school traffic management, may I call Mrs. Lorella Gutierrez.
Good afternoon. Is my audio clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Ms. Thomas, how's my cam? Is it working?
Yes, ma'am. You may
Okay,
start na po. Thank you
sorry,
po.
my end. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so thank you once again, Ms. Thomas. Good afternoon, parents and students. Despite the IATF's announcement of the country being under alert level 1, we must still imply and observe proper social distancing as a way to promote the prevention of the spread of the COVID-19 to both teachers and students. Thus, the school traffic management focuses on the entry and exit point control of students. Let me emphasize the general guidelines for drop-off and pick-up procedures. First, do not block the main entrance to allow the passage of emergency vehicles. Do not double park to avoid road congestion. Do not stay in the drop-off and pick-up areas. There will be only one gate for entry and another gate for exit. The gate along Eagle Street will be used as a drop-off point or for the entrance, and the gate along General Ordonez will be used as for pick-up point or for the exit. For everybody's information, guidance, and safety, everyone must wear their face mask. No face mask, no entry. Maintain at least 1 meter distance among students lining up for entry. Next slide, please. Sir. As you can see on your screens, that's the entrance gate along Eagle Street. And the next slide, that one is the exit gate gate along General Ordonez. Next slide. The chart shows the process of actions that are needed to be done upon entry and exit of students. All students, upon entering the school premises, shall be subjected to health safety procedures. Before coming to school, first, student must submit or fill out the health declaration form a day before they come to school. Of course, for those who don't have Stay Safe QR code. But for those who have Stay Safe QR code, no need to submit a health declaration form as the scanning of QR code will be done on the day itself. Then upon arrival, the students must line up for the mandatory checking of body temperature while maintaining at least 1 meter distance among students lining up following the floor markers. Now, what if, for no fever rather, if the student has a normal body temperature of 37.4 degrees Celsius and below, he or she proceeds to the hand washing station. Before washing of hands, the students must change or discard the face mask and throw it in the yellow trash bin. Washing of the hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds will be strictly observed. Then after washing their hands, they will now proceed to their designated classrooms following the walk flow pattern. Now, before entering the classroom, students must step on the chlorine-based mat to disinfect their shoes. Then disinfect their hands with a provided alcohol-based sanitizer. Then student must follow the workflow pattern inside the classroom, then sit on their assigned chair. Then they attend their classes as scheduled. Then after class, students should follow the workflow pattern going to the exit gate. That's it. Then students, please be reminded that no loitering in common areas of the school while waiting for the parents or guardians. Then actually there's an open space near the exit gate as that will be designated as a waiting area for the parents and students. Then of course, practice physical distancing at all times. Of course, no mingling with others. Then how about if the student has fever? So for with fever, if upon entry or any time during class, the student has a body temperature of 37.5 degrees Celsius or above, he or she will then be asked to proceed to the triage or holding area for 5 minutes for assessment and monitoring. If after 5 minutes, the temperature goes down and there are no COVID symptoms, the student will be asked to proceed to his or her classroom following the procedures of going to the classroom and going out for dismissal. Then if after 5 minutes, no changes occur and there are symptoms of COVID or other clinical symptoms, the student will proceed to the isolation area where additional or further assessment and monitoring will be done by our health staff. Then the administration, advisor, parents or guardians will be informed of the situation. Then parents or guardians will be asked to fetch the child. Then they will be instructed to monitor and follow the protocols if symptoms persist. However, in the event that the student is in critical condition, he or she will then be brought immediately to the hospital, after which the parents will be notified. Sir Christian, next slide, please. As you can see on your screen, we have the thermal scanner and alcohol dispenser located in our entrance gate. Then the next slide, our hand washing station. Beside the hand washing station, the yellow trash bin, wherein you're going to place your face mask. The used face mask rather. Then the last slide, the parents, guardians, students waiting area, located at the exit, near the exit gate. Okay, so this concludes my presentation about traffic management. Now we expect for everyone to follow the right thing, which is through social distancing. Once again, thank you and Jesus loves you. Back to you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. As for the safety protocols, we will ensure to adapt all the IATF's guidelines to prioritize the health and well-being of all our stakeholders, most especially our students. These are the safety procedures to follow upon school entry. All students, parents or guardians, school personnel, and even the visitors shall be subjected to health and safety procedures. temperature check using a thermal scanner. Then those who will have a reading of 37.5 degrees Celsius or above will be brought to a private screening area set up near the entrance of the school. He or she will be monitored by the safety officer for appropriate management, intervention, or referral. Proper wearing of face mask, washing of hands in designated wash areas, and of course, disinfecting. Now, for the hand washing scheme, students will wash or sanitize their hands upon entry and exit. Hand washing is also done before and after break time. Part of our hygiene procedure is for each student to have their own health or hygiene kit, which contains the following. Every student, again, is required to bring his or her own health kit. It has to include the following: personal protective equipment or PPE, at least 5 pieces of medical or surgical face masks, 1 handy bottle of 70% ethyl or isopropyl alcohol, face towel, tissue paper or wipes, toothbrush and toothpaste, as well as the usual emergency or first aid kit: betadine, cotton buds or swabs, Band-Aid, pen light, and whistle. They will be bringing this health kit on the first day of face-to-face classes, which will be left in school under their assigned chairs. Only those with health kits will be permitted to attend classes on site. We also encourage the students to use a clear food-like plastic container for easy access. Since the country has not yet been cleared of the pandemic, we reiterate the following. First, we follow a staggered schedule for the ingress of students, their breaks, and dismissal. A sample class schedule will be explained in the succeeding slides. Second, we are still prohibiting large gatherings in the school. All academic and extracurricular activities done on site shall be confined to the assigned classroom of each class so that physical distancing can be still follow the academic ease of limiting our academic requirements to the most essential learning competencies or MELCs prescribed by the Department of Education and our shortened class schedule. As for the break or lunch schedules and protocols, the guidelines are as follows. Students are required to bring their own food and water since we do not have a canteen in school. No sharing of food and water will be allowed. There will be an area for the students to eat their food. Half of the class will be eating inside the classroom, while the half will be eating at the school's pantry. A picture of the pantry is shown on your screen. They need to keep their hands clean by washing thoroughly with soap and water. This is also part of our class schedule, which we will be discussing in a bit. To continue, for the class schedule, a sample is now shown on your screen. At around 7:45 a.m., the students will be arriving in school just in time for their morning assembly, which will start at 8 a.m. Each subject will be having a 1-hour period. After the first subject, hand washing will be done before and after the break time, followed by the 2 remaining subjects for the day. By 12:10 p.m., the students can now go home. Since this is the face-to-face schedule to follow, the asynchronous activities will be done during the afternoon at home. Consultations with their subject teachers can still be communicated to give them assistance just in case they have questions. As for those students who will opt to attend the classes purely online, this will still be the schedule to follow, which means that the face-to-face classes are being simultaneously shared via Google Meet. Now, regardless of the learning modalities, the students still have to always follow the policies on discipline and observe proper decorum, as stated in our school handbook. This means that the bringing of cell phones and gadgets are still highly discouraged. In the event that it will be brought for academic purposes, it will only be used in school upon the instructions of the teacher. In relation, the Data Privacy Act will still be followed. This means that no taking of pictures or videos can be taken without others' permission. No sharing of these files as well. Complete uniform will also be worn during face-to-face classes, together with the proper haircut, hair color, etc. Similar to the rules and regulations we have followed in school pre-pandemic. As part of our safety measures, students again are expected to bring their own food and water because no sharing will be allowed. These are all further explained in circular number 22, which has been sent already to your email. To talk about the home, school, community coordination, may I call Mrs. Ana San Jose Buena.
Thank you, Ms. Tomas. Good afternoon, my dear parents and students. I hope that everyone is doing good despite that we are in this pandemic. So I am Mrs. Ana Rose San Jose Buena, and I will be discussing with you our home, school, or community coordination. So in the next slide, you are being shown, everybody, a flow chart of what the school plans, just in case that there will be an assessed case of COVID-19 upon entry in the school. Okay, hold on. So upon entry, temperature scanning and others will be done as discussed by my colleagues a while ago. If a student or personnel is assessed to have COVID-19 symptoms, immediate activation of contingency plan for school closure will be done. Hence, notification to the concerned people like the students' parents or guardians should be done as well. There will be proper coordination with BERT or Barangay Health Emergency Response Team. Quarantine and referring the patient for treatment will be observed as well. Contact tracing will also begin. For those who are vaccinated and have direct interaction with the assessed case, this person or these people will be advised to quarantine for 7 days and 10 days for those who are not vaccinated yet. After 7 days, the vaccinated people will return to school. For those unvaccinated yet, they are advised to get tested within 3 to 5 days. Once tested negative and after the 10-day quarantine, they will also return to school. But of course, my dear parents and dear students, if at home, if we are feeling any of the symptoms of COVID-19, we are of course advising or encouraging you not to go to school anymore to avoid spread of the virus. Okay? The following steps are also done for the contact tracing and homeschool coordination. One moment. So initially, our school nurse is checking for vital signs. If with fever, cough, or colds, the school nurse may perform antigen swab test using FDA-approved test kits. And then, the patient will be proceeding to the isolation room. If with difficulty of breathing, the school nurse will check the oxygen saturation and provide oxygen therapy. Then, our school nurse will also check for the medical history of the person. Next, the person or the guardian or parent will also be notified about the situation. Okay, so if the student is also assessed to have COVID-19 symptoms, aside from the parent or the guardian of the student, the class advisor will also be monitored or will also be advised rather. And then proper coordination with birth or barangay health emergency response team will also be done. If a patient with symptoms is a school personnel, the following things will be done. So informing the immediate supervisor will be observed, notifying his or her family will also be done, and advising birth of probable case of COVID-19 will also be implemented. Patient with symptoms must leave the school premises immediately via private transportation or with the help of LGU's ambulance. Depends on the severity of symptoms and must isolate for 10 days. Once patient left the school, isolation room and other rooms that he or she was exposed to must be disinfected immediately. Before returning to school, make sure that a medical clearance is provided or an RT-PCR negative test result is available. For students with COVID-19, isolate them or immediately with supervision at a distance of 2 meters. Next slide po, please. Next slide po. So you are also being shown, my dear parents and students, some numbers which are very helpful in case of emergency. So we have here Marikina Health Office. You are provided of their mobile phone numbers, both for Smart, Globe, and PM. And they have also given us their landline. Okay, so which is 89971013, which is open every Monday to Friday from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We also have the number of Infant Jesus Academy. So we have 8941-8920. We also have 847-53770. And you are also provided of the mobile numbers of the school, which are for Globe and Sun. If emergency cases will happen, you are also provided the following numbers. So we have Rescue 161, and we also have the mobile phone numbers for Globe and Smart. Then you are also being shown for of the Barangay Concepcion Dos and Barangay Marikina Heights hotline. And of course, we have the following numbers for DOH. You are provided for the mobile phone number of Globe and Smart and with the landline hotline 8942-6843. We hope, my dear parents and students, that we keep each and everyone safe. And again, a reminder to everyone, once you feel any COVID-19 symptoms, even if we are at home, we advise you to stay at home too, of course, to avoid wide spread of the symptoms. And once again, let's keep ourselves safety. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Buena. As for the date of implementation, may I call our dear principal, Mrs. Ana Marie Nobleza.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jaisel and parents and students. Good afternoon to all of you. Also, good afternoon to our teachers and administrators. We have just received yesterday our go signal from the regional office, the NCR, the DepEd NCR. We received our go signal to conduct our limited face-to-face classes for grade 12. So we can actually start. We were instructed that we can already start come Monday. And of course, we will start by Monday, provided that the students can already share with their advisors the consent form signed by their parents and the health declaration form as mentioned by Mrs. Gutierrez earlier. For the schedule of that, since that will be the first day, we will just be like providing more detailed orientation about the conduct of the face-to-face classes. So parang trial version natin yon, and so that we can check on what we need to improve on once we open formally on Wednesday. By that day, or actually yung Monday and Tuesday, we will use that as our way of like making the students familiar again with a procedure, so that by Wednesday we can invite the Department of Education to watch us. Kasi gusto nila panoorin tayo kung paano natin i-implement yung ating face-to-face, limited face-to-face classes. So that will be on, we will invite them on Wednesday if they're available. But within the, if they're not available on Wednesday, I'm sure they'll find time within the week to come to school and observe us. Okay, so the details of the schedule for each of the classes will be given by your advisors, because they will still be checking who among you students can send their consent and the health declaration form. So since in the class of Saint Agatha, you have like 30, there are like 31 who already expressed based on the survey that we rolled out last February. I noticed that there are 31 who actually want to go to face-to-face classes na. Some of you want pure face-to-face, while others are want to go blended, meaning by blended we mean that half of the students will be each class will be actually grouped into 2 batches. So the first batch will go face-to-face first, while the others are at home, and then the next week we will exchange naman. So meaning the second batch will come to school while the first batch will stay at home. And then don't worry, because the classes will be broadcast, meaning as your teachers and fellow students are in school, you will still be able to attend their classes while at home. The school purchased a camera, a powerful camera and microphone, so that the teachers can clearly broadcast their classes at home to those at home. So the details of the time when you are expected to come to school on Monday and Tuesday and the rest of the days will be discussed with you by class by your class advisors, because you will have different schedules, because as mentioned, we are following a staggered time for the ingress of students, or meaning the coming in of the students and all the rest of the activities. That is to avoid groupings or big groupings, and still follow the physical distancing, despite in schools we are a bit stricter than in the malls, diba? Kasi even if we are already IATF already announced that we are at level 1, alert level 1, where establishments are actually allowed to accommodate 100% of their usual capacity. We still in the school, we will not yet do that. Since this pilot implementation of our face-to-face classes, which we are giving, or which we are offering the senior high school, grade 12 senior high school, is kaya sinabi nating pilot is for us, for the school, to be able to find out other areas that we need to improve on, so that when we finally offer the face-to-face classes again to all of the cohorts or to all of the levels, then we will at least be assured that we were able to fine-tune everything. So again, we chose grade 12 because since you are graduating, ito na yung last days ninyo in the school. So kaya kayo yung napili para naman kahit papaano, especially those who are new to the school, kasi you've been at home studying for 2 years now. So if you're new in the school, you haven't gotten a look inside the school campuses. So unfortunately, we'll not be using the usual campus for the senior high school. So yung usual campus natin, di ba, yung nandun sa kabilang side ng Ipil, we're using the CFM campus for now, yung nasa Molave, and actually dalawa yung side niya, Molave and Ipil side. So but in the once we implement the face-to-face classes for all levels, we will be using the usual campus. We're just actually preparing them, so there are some renovations and cleaning up going on, so we can when the students come for face-to-face classes, our campuses are ready. So we will also be, siyempre good news ito for the senior high school, our graduating senior high school students, because we will also be preparing for your face-to-face graduation. So, di ba last year, we only had a virtual graduation kasi, di ba, we were not, no gathering was permitted before. So, though we are, di ba sabi nga kanina, we are still implementing the no big gatherings in the school. Hindi talaga natin yung gagawin. That's why the graduation that we are preparing for will be by section or by group of like groups of maximum of 45 or 50 students lang. So para we can ensure physical distancing, and we will of course be conducting it at an open space or open area where air circulation is free. So yun yung mga good news natin for our senior high school. I'm sure I was there when you were when you had your picture taking for your yearbook, and for the virtual graduation, we will be preparing also slides for your graduation. So when I got across or I met some of your classmates and interviewed them, and I really felt that most of you are very excited already for the face-to-face classes, and of course face-to-face graduation. So sana we have to follow strictly, even outside the school, especially at the malls or within your community. You still have to follow strictly the health protocols defined by DOH and IATF, so that we can all, or we will all avoid, or we can all help in curbing the spread of COVID-19. So hopefully our country gets clear with our DOH proclaims that we're already COVID-free, so that we can all go back to the normal situation. But of course, with the learning that we got from this experience. So, pag siguro naging maayos na yung ating sitwasyon, health situation of the country, then we can all see each other physically. Okay, hindi lang ganito na face-to-face tayo. Face-to-face tayo with the computer. I can only see you virtually. So again, to formally open our face-to-face, limited face-to-face classes for grade 12. We will have the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday next week, as our trial for the face-to-face. Those who will submit early, their consent and their health declaration forms to their advisor, you will be prioritized for that schedule. Okay po? Is that clear, my dear students and parents and teachers as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yan. Thank you po. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nobreza. To add also, aside from the parents' consent sign, please do make sure that if you will be attending on Monday or during your first day, you have to bring your hygiene kit.
Yeah. As mentioned.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
For the last part of the discussion, we will now proceed to the communication strategy. For ease of communication, the school has been using various platforms to communicate with you, our dear parents, as well as our students. One of which is the official IJA FB page, which you can message anytime. Next slide, please. In addition, school messenger accounts and email addresses. We would also like to share with you the references that we've used in creating our IJA primer, discussing all of these guidelines about the limited face-to-face classes. A copy of the IJA primer has been sent to your email as well by your child's class advisor. Next slide, please. So here is a copy of some of the references that we've used in creating our IJA primer. Again, our dear parents and guardians, a copy of the IJA primer discussing all the guidelines that we've discussed today are already sent in your personal email.